Hello and welcome back. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone mentions a Lenovo laptop, my brain immediately goes to the ThinkPad, that sturdy, reliable business machine trusted by millions of office workers around the world. But what if, instead of spreadsheets and conference calls, you wanted to fire up some games? Well, good news. Lenovo has been expanding its lineup, and these days they offer a variety of gaming laptops across different price points. The high-performance Legion line, the budget-friendly IdeaPad series, and the newest edition, the LOQ series, designed for entry-level gamers. This is their LOQ 15AP-R9, a no-frills, budget-friendly gaming laptop that aims to deliver excellent price to performance. But does it actually live up to that promise? Let's find out. Looking at the specs first, my unit was configured with AMD's Ryzen 7 7435HS processor, an RTX 4060 laptop GPU, 24GB of DDR5 memory, 512GB of storage, a 144Hz IPS screen with G-Sync, a 60Wh battery and a white backlit keyboard. Not bad for an entry-level gaming machine, right? Yeah, maybe. Here's where it gets really interesting. I only paid £588 for this laptop, which is around $780 USD. Yes, it was during Lenovo's sales, but even now, the cheapest 4060 equipped laptop from major UK retailers starts at around £950 or $1250 USD, and it can climb all the way up to £2000. So yeah, Lenovo's claim about the value isn't just marketing, it holds water. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the hardware in more detail. The Ryzen 7 7435HS was launched in early 2023. It's a Zen 3 Plus chip with 8 cores and 16 threads. Base clock is set to 3.1 GHz, with boost clocks reaching up to 4.5 GHz under load, typically keeping to around 3.8 for longer duration loads. CPU operates 45W TDP, but sadly it lacks any form of integrated graphics, one of the very few downsides of this laptop. As for the GPU, the RTX 4060 laptop variant is based on Nvidia's Ada Lovelace architecture. The AD107 chip is built on a 5nm process. It comes with 3072 shading units, 8GB of GDDR6 memory, and in this laptop it runs at TDP of 115W. Design-wise, the LOQ15 is finished in what Lenovo calls Lunar Grey, and honestly, it looks pretty sharp. Its minimal and clean, fairly smart and unassuming aesthetics are combined with subtle chrome Lenovo and LOQ logos on the lid. No flashy RGB here. Port selection is quite practical too. Lenovo's gone for a rear-heavy I/O layout, which I personally prefer. The left side of the laptop is clean with no ports at all, while the right side includes a USB-C 3.2 port that supports 140W power delivery, a camera shutter switch, combined headphone jack and a USB-A 3.2 port. Round the back, there's the charging port, 2 more USB-A 3.2 ports, HDMI 2.1 and a RJ45 Ethernet port. All in all, a solid and useful selection. Bottom of the laptop reveals plenty of ventilation cutout for cooling and perhaps some signs of where the savings come from. The entire chassis of this laptop is made out of plastics. It does not feel bad or cheap, in fact it feels quite sturdy. This AP-R9 model only offers white backlight for the keyboard, but I didn't mind this at all. Touchpad feels pretty good and is of good size too. The anti-glare coating of the screen was also doing a pretty good job, no complaints here. When it comes to upgrades and repairs, there are 10 screws securing the bottom panel, and as soon as those are removed, use a plastic wedge and work those plastic clips from the top corner along the back until it comes off. Panel feels sturdy and comes pre-applied with 2 thick thermal pads for solid-state drive. Good to see. Inside you'll find 2 large cooling fans and thick heat pipes. Lenovo has paid attention to thermal performance. From the factory, there was 1 spare NVMe slot to expand your storage. The downfiring speakers are no more than average, again, more on those later. The standard 60Wh battery should be upgradable to a bigger 80Wh battery, however, with one of those at around £75 or 100 USD. Not sure if it is worth it. 2 slots for system memory are hidden under this cover, and a maximum of 32GB of DDR5 memory running at 4800 megatransfers is supported. Right, let's put the cover back on and start with some testing. It's worth mentioning, Lenovo's solution to fine-tune your laptop is called Vantage app, and apart from the usual BS bloatware, it also includes some adjustments to power, overclocking and thermals. For today's testing, I simply enabled GPU overclock and set the thermal profile to balanced, ignoring the Legion AI optimization. LOQ15 kept thermals well under control, and I observed a maximum CPU temps of around 85C, with GPU maxing out at around 70. Measured fan noise was at 56.4 dB and 56.6 dB. Here's a little sample I've recorded with Zoom H1, which was positioned 12 inches above the keyboard. Slightly less impressive are the downfiring built-in stereo speakers. I realised most people don't care about this when buying a laptop, and these are absolutely fine for watching videos. But have you ever used any MacBook that was made in the last decade or so? Anyways, here's a little sample at 50 and 100% volumes. Next, on to the benchmarks. In Cinebench R23, LOQ15 scored close to 13,000 points in the multi-core test and 1,428 in single-core. Very respectable and right in line with a desktop Ryzen 5 5600. Blender's car demo rendered in just over 3 minutes, and when compared to an Alienware M15X we looked at a while ago, this is what I call progress. Processing a 10GB 4K video file using Handbrake's fast 1080p 30 preset took 12 minutes and 11 seconds. And again, I'm really sorry to take on the poor Alienware from 15 years ago. I will have more laptops to test soon, and hopefully the comparison will be somewhat fairer then. Moving on to GPU benchmarks, in 3D Mark Firestrike, LOQ15 pushed 23,500 points. In TimeSpy, result was 9,789 points. Switching to Valley benchmark with ultra quality preset, and I saw 6,276 points. And moving away from purely raster testing, we also tested RTX 4060's Raytracing performance using Port Royal, and the score was 5,578 points. Enough of the synthetics, time for some real-world gaming. It would not be a proper testing without some zombie action, so Dying Light 2 comes first. Running around at night is never a good idea, but despite this, the game actually runs really well. Ah, see what I did there? Using high quality preset with DLSS upscaling on quality nets around 90 FPS on average, with 1% lows above 60. Perfectly playable. LOQ15 had no trouble with Forza Horizon 5 even at ultra preset. 4060's clock speed hovers between 22 to 2400 MHz, and around 5.5 GB of memory was allocated by this game. I saw 125 FPS on average with 1% lows at 51. I only wish my driving was a bit smoother. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 follows my favourite series of post-apocalyptic shooters and calmed the miss from any testing going forwards. This game gives my RTX 4090 hard time, so I was quite pleased to see that we've managed to push 88 FPS on average when using in-game high preset, of course with help of DLSS on performance setting. However, the 1% lows at 31, not ideal. Next up, Pacific Drive. Can I just say, this game is bloody demanding. Using medium preset and DLSS on quality, LOQ15 pushed 73 FPS on average with 1% lows at 43. A decent result for a smooth gameplay. And then there's STARFIELD. Now over 600 days since release, and sadly it still runs like a potato. With medium preset and DLSS on quality, I saw just 55 FPS on average and a tragic 1% loss of just 28. Granted, I've done testing in Aquila City, which is one of the most demanding areas of this game, but still. Right, time to wrap this video up. And as you all know, the ever-increasing trend of price hiking affects PC games too.
We need some money from you. How much money do you have in your pocket?
Finding an affordable machine can be tricky. So, is Lenovo's take at the budget gamer any good? Overall, I would say yes. It's not perfect, but there are certainly more positives than negatives that I have to say about the LOQ15. For less than £600, we are getting a very capable Ryzen 7 processor which delivers for both gaming and productivity needs. The RTX 4060 is adequate for gaming at 1080p, for as long as we are sensible with graphical settings and we don't mind using upscaling, especially in the newer titles. The 144Hz IPS screen was really nice to use, especially with G-Sync on. I also liked the matte coating, which did a great job in the bright lit room, not that we get much sun over here. What was not so great about the LOQ15 in this specific configuration was the lack of any integrated graphics. This means RTX 4060 is used at all times, and of course, that drains the battery a lot more quicker. Under light gaming, the battery lasted just under 1 hour, and about 2.5 hours of watching YouTube videos. Not great, I know, but then it's a gaming laptop. Lenovo does offer an Intel processor with integrated GPU for this model, however, those are significantly more expensive. So, should you consider buying this laptop? Honestly, yes. Even more than a year since its release, the Lenovo LOQ15 still offers incredible value for your money. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.